Ready.
All right. Welcome everyone to Walking After Whiskey. I'm Shorty.
And I'm Travis. We're going to break down your latest episode of The Walking Dead tonight.
We're also going to break down some top shelf whiskey. Hopefully it's not shitty. And welcome to season 9, episode 1. Shit.
We're breaking down Teeling's Irish whiskey tonight. Thank you, Scott. And it's a very good Irish whiskey that we both enjoy. So we're going to have a good review tonight.
We are. We're reviewing season 9, episode 2.
Here's to the review, sister.
Nice.
Cheers.
Cheers.
First point, Michonne and Maggie. So Michelle opens up. Michelle walks up to Maggie, again bartering, asking for more food for the Saviors.
Yes. And Maggie, again, has to take her status, put herself back up there on the throne and assert herself. Like, she says no. Like, we need this ethanol. We have stuff to do. We got to get this plow going. And she stands her ground and tells Michonne, almost like her equal at one point in time, like, that's not going to happen.
Sure. I'm still Shorty out a little bit. She's not feeling Maggie this episode. No. Last episode she was rah Maggie, and this episode she's kind of a little cold shoulder. What's going on there?
The whole episode I was a little disappointed with. Like, you could tell it was setting everybody up for something, but it was a little slow.
Sure.
And like, I was waiting for something to happen the whole time. Like, I loved episode 1, I loved it, and now you were just kind of waiting for the next crescendo to happen. So that was my problem with the show. Okay.
So the scene shows a contrast, and shows us right what they've been alluding to, which is the bridge building. In the last episode, Maggie says she'll keep giving the Saviors food as long as they hold up more of their end of building the bridge. Right. So we see Daryl and his crew, mostly people from the Saviors, building the bridge out there that had been washed away in the storm. Yep. The same storm that was actually on Fear the Walking Dead. So it's kind of cool they tied those both in like that. So what do you think about the whole bridge building, the community coming together? Do you see continuity? What do you see here?
You see more of that, everybody trying to be kumbaya and be together, and it's just not happening. Because what happens next? Huge fight breaks out. Like, the moment that people get together, all of a sudden now Daryl, you know I love Daryl, is in a huge fight with Justin again. Like, he's fighting with the Saviors again. So it's just, you're getting people together that it's oil and vinegar. So it's rough.
You know, there's a lot of open wounds still. Like, you know, the Saviors killed a lot of people and oppressed them for a very long time. But you also get to see, like, who's Ezekiel's right-hand man?
I don't know his name, but I love that dude so much.
You see him with a woman now, and like they've all meshed. The Oceanside, they couldn't have men before, and so now they have men now, and they just, you know, it seems like they're trying to get some normalcy back in their lives. But there's a huge imprint on them from the Saviors, you know, that might be very hard to overcome. There's a lot of scar tissue.
Absolutely, and I feel like still no one's acknowledging really what happened to Daryl. Sure. And like, that's like, he's trying to explain, like, you can't trust the Saviors. He's trying so hard to explain that, but nobody really has ever acknowledged, like, what he went through when he was imprisoned with the Saviors. No one acknowledges that.
And you even see a lot of the girls that were in high power places for the Saviors are now with other women and other men, and they're actually, a lot of them have assimilated, but it's very hard for Daryl because he was broken. I mean, the guy was seriously broken there, weeks upon time with the audio going on all night. So you know, he went through a really hard place where he lost everything. He lost himself. And so it's hard for him to kind of come to try to be in a community when Daryl was already kind of like an outskirt person as it was.
But even harder for him that, like, the leader that he has known doesn't acknowledge. Like, since then, since he's been freed, nobody has acknowledged what Daryl's been through. So that's actually all at first 1 and 2 episodes. That really bothers me about this.
So again, we see more Daryl and Justin conflict. Right. Daryl asked Justin to cover up the "We Are Saviors" thing. We all think that Justin wrote it, but now Justin wants more water from Henry, and he actually punks him for water. But Henry stands his ground, knocks him on his ass, and Daryl comes there to fight him, which is, you know, fisticuffs. Daryl puts him on his ass.
And you figure Daryl's been waiting for the opportunity, right? He's been waiting for the opportunity to assert himself. So you get that, and what dude attacks a child anyway. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? And Justin is really like trying to assert himself a little bit.
Sure.
Like, I'm going to prove my PowerPoint to a child, but so Daryl, well, and then the kid kicks his ass anyway, so that's kind of epic.
Weird thing that we see, which is also awkward, we find out the saviors don't have any weapons. Right. Henry does have a weapon. So it's almost like very much of a power struggle, but it's inserting himself as well. But it's very awkward, like the dynamics they have, because under Negan, they didn't have weapons. They worked for him and gave him everything. And now under Rick, they have no weapons. And they give him everything and they work for him. So
exactly.
How much different is Rick than Negan? It's like Regan.
But it is. But there's also more Negans, right? There's more Negans. There's way more leadership on the good guy side, right, than the bad guy side. Absolutely. There was one Negan, there was his minions, but there's much more kind of a more level playing field.
Yes. Less killing.
In intelligence, right?
Less head bashing.
On the good guy side. Right. So you feel that, and you feel that.
So that conflict's there. Let's talk about just a short second about the whole Andrew log falling down, because they're trying to get a whole horde of zombies to go another way. They had 2 huge sirens going off. Ezekiel's man got the first one, but Justin, again, strike number 2, didn't let his off.
He didn't, and it took me, I actually had to go back and watch, because I had to figure out where that shortcoming came from. Like when they started talking about where he was basically a traitor kind of in the means, right?
Right.
So I had to go back and rewind it and watch it again, because I couldn't figure out where that traitor came from. Right. But once you figured it out, it's like, what else does anybody have to do but to kick him out of this one? Like, he's obviously not going to ever commit to being on the good guys team, I guess.
And this is Daryl Justin fight number 2 in the same episode. Right. These guys are just like, don't like each other. Like you said, oil and vinegar.
Right. And I think, but at the same time though, finally, Rick asserts some power again, because you don't really see him. He's trying to be the good guy. He's trying to make laws. He's trying to play the nice, even keel game and make everybody happy. Yeah. But finally, he has to now address Justin and be like, this is not how it's going to be. You're kicked out.
He told Rick, get your bitch on a leash. When you're talking to Daryl.
Right,
and Rick looked at him because he got stitched up and said, if I get a hold of you, stitches won't fix what I'll do to you. And people, The Walking Dead is very calculated with their wording here. So this could be some foreshadowing of, Rick getting hurt or this guy getting killed. So it's very much a foreshadowing of what might happen with this Justin-Rick feud.
Well, and that's part of my problem. Like, I get it. The Walking Dead, you have to foreshadow what's going to happen. Yes. Like, everybody knows that Rick's going to die. Like, we get that. So, I do...
Or leave.
Oh, yeah. You know me. I said, last episode, if you watched it, I said he's going to get off by Negan. That's my take on the situation. Sure. But... like, the foreshadowing is great, but it's almost like this whole episode was foreshadowing, and I think that's what I didn't like about it. That's what made it boring for me. A lot of what I love about The Walking Dead is its surprises. Sure. So all of this foreshadowing going on, I'm not a super big fan of it, but I get it. I get it.
We're going to touch on something that Shorty is really interested about. So we see Father Gabriel, Episcopalian, can get down.
Yeah.
So him and Jadis get down a little bit. We see what's going on. But she is very interested in what Jadis saw on the lift.
So the helicopter scene. So this is now the second time that Jadis Ann has been associated with some type of a helicopter. Sure. And we don't know who's running the helicopter. We can, at least I can, and we talked about this, at least I can assume there's some military aspects. She's very structured, I guess that's kind of the word. She's very structured with all of her actions and how she led her group in the garbage dumps of hell. But so we see the helicopter come down when she has Negan, and now she's, I don't know if she boned the preacher, whatever she did with that dude, but
he got to watch.
Well,
we'll say
whatever
that.
she did, he had a good time, I'm sure. Sure. But now she's on a lift, on a boom lift, sure. Helicopter comes again.
Yeah, it's very awkward. Like we had a little discussion about what might be going on. I do think it's military status, but it's also very weird that this comes around and you think wherever you are, you notice a helicopter from miles around and no one's talking about this. There's no way out in the middle of Georgia, a helicopter comes by that close and only she sees it because she's what, 30 feet higher than everybody else? No, you'd hear this thing.
Helicopters are loud.
Yes.
Not sure if everyone's aware, but when you hear a helicopter going by, you can kind of hear it.
That woolly bird.
Yeah.
So then coming to one of our last points is we actually get to see Rick and Negan together. We see Negan in his cell, very methodical in the way he's speaking. Yep. He looks very broken down though.
Yep.
As much as he's trying to be boisterous, he can tell he's like, fuck.
But he's broken down, but he's still addressing Rick like he's the top dog.
Yes.
So you see that, and you keep in the mind that this is Rick's last season, so that's difficult to handle. And like, I don't know, I told you this. So my theory, seriously, is that all of these survivors, whatever, all the saviors that are being kidnapped or are mysteriously disappearing, they've acknowledged that. I feel like they're making their own coup, and even though they beat the crap out of Justin, that it appears that they beat the crap out of Justin, that they're the ones that are going to jailbreak Negan, and Negan will still be the one to kill Rick.
So yeah, so this is my little take. We know that this season the Whispers will be coming on. As I was showing Shorty, in comic books, Whispers and Alpha, what they do is they're very much of like a Thunderdome. If you remember like Tina Turner back in the Max days, they're very savage, right? If you thought Saviors were anything, you have no idea what you're going to experience. These people will kill you, and they will cut you up and make a suit out of your skin. That way they can walk along the zombies, talk to each other, right? And not only that, but then you have no idea a zombie can attack, block, or kill you. So, like literally, like when you see the guys coming at you, it's a big deal. Which leads to the whole Justin kidnap thing. So at the end of the episode, when Rick sends Justin away, people that have been leaving the bridge to go back to the Saviors have not been making it back. And people that go to the hilltop have not been making it there with supplies.
Come back to Alexandria, they haven't made it back. All kinds of groups haven't made it back.
So at the very last scene of the episode, you see Justin walking away. There was a third strike, he's out of there. And he sees someone in the bushes and then almost attacks him. And he goes, oh man, I almost killed you. And then at that point, it was like a weird soundtrack, whatever, it took him away, but he recognized the face. But he was very copacetic with it, like he knew the person and let his guard down, and they took him away, whether killed him or hit him or whatever. But what's awkward is this someone he knew? Is this someone wearing skin of someone he knows? Like, what was happening here? Because nobody at the encampment acted like they were his friend.
And we know from way back in the day, like beginning of the episodes, at the beginning of the seasons, that skin trick works.
Yes.
We know that. So it will be curious whether it's the Saviors, whether it's a whole different, the Whispers, right, that are going to be introduced. The military, this weird helicopter thing that's going on. So I think I like that they've set themselves up for kind of cool things to come. I don't like that we still don't know how Rick is going to part or when he's going to part, right? So
episode 5, they're saying we'll see what happens. A lot of fans, but we're in season 2 now. I mean, sorry, episode 2. So speculation is 3 episodes until he's almost gone. So who knows how this is going to all shape up?
And then how does everybody react? Like when the show started and people started to become fans of Daryl, right? If Daryl dies, we're all going to vote, right?
We're all going to vote.
And it's interesting now that Rick is an expendable character. Like Rick doesn't have that status, which is kind of interesting. So I'm very much looking forward to the season. I think they've led us up to some great expectations and some maybe tricks. Like they have to do more tricks than just Rick's going to die, because they've already alluded to that. So I'm excited about the season. Not a huge fan of this one. Thank you, darling. Not a huge fan of this one, but I'm super excited for the rest of the season.
Good review. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, darling. Cheers.
This is the part of the review we break down the whiskey we've been drinking all night. Shorty, what have we been drinking all night?
We've been drinking Teeling whiskey. Thank you. So truth be told, I'm a rum girl. So what I love the most about this whiskey right now is it's fermented in rum barrels. Like, it's excellent. I've tried this before, and I was super excited that we were going to review this tonight because I enjoyed it so much.
I stand back the last time. I gave her this at first, and then I put a bourbon behind it, and she was caught the fuck off guard. I cut it out, but it was amazing to see.
You missed the edit. The last time I tried the last bourbon, like Moreland's, right? Coughed my ass off. This, so smooth, so delicious. Totally enjoy this. This is a whiskey that I can totally get behind. Love it.
What's awesome, because like she said, that it's fermented in rum barrels. So it's got the spicy notes of a rum, like a spiced rum. Not like Bacardi rum, but like you know, a Captain's Morgan's, where it's delicious. It goes down, it sits on you nice. It's got a full body to it.
I'm waiting for Jack Sparrow to come in on the Black Pearl and start grabbing his drink and taking some shots. That's what I'm waiting for right now.
Get taken away. Shorty's, I'm gonna get out of here. No, it tastes amazing, and it's a whiskey, and it's light. It's an Irish whiskey, which is does not taste like an Irish whiskey. This tastes like an Irish man slept on the shores of Cuba and stayed there and made a fucking whiskey with his Cuban wife with coconuts. It's fucking amazing. Goes down real smooth, and I love it.
Picture that, everyone. Just picture some dude with this
pale ass guy, some pale ass guy,
and then Jack Sparrow in the background going, "I love this whiskey." Yeah.
So let me ask you again. So, who would drink this whiskey on The Walking Dead?
Jesus.
Like the real Jesus, or like the character?
No, Jesus would drink this.
Okay.
Jesus would totally drink this.
Okay. Why would Jesus totally drink this?
Light, super light, and there's just something about Jesus. There is really something about that dude. Like it's, as far as whiskeys go, like again, they're very hard for me to shoot down a little bit. I've tried a ton of different whiskeys, and this has probably been the easiest one for me to ever try. Like it's so great.
It's not hot, full body, it goes down. Almost because it's more of a Michonne whiskey. So like she can be very calm and very poised at times, but she also is got a little spice to her. There's a little caffeine in her.
I like that. Okay, I'm changing. I'm changing my Jesus.
Changing size.
I'm super changing my Jesus to Michonne right now just because of you. I think that's great.
You're very welcome.
I think it's perfect. All right, Don. Thank you.
Cheers to you. Good review. Thanks guys for watching.